Today I'm going to talk to you about using stitch markers. So I use the slip stitch to beginning stitch chain one join a lot in a lot of my patterns. I don't use it in every pattern. If I can hide it, I will hide it because it does create a visible join seam. You can see it here. You can decrease the visibility of your join seam by pulling the slip stitch really tight. Since it's not a regular slip stitch, it's a join, you can pull it snugger, and what that looks like is this. You can insert your hook into the first stitch that you worked, yarn over, pull up, pull that through, and then cinch that tighter. Then chain one, and then continue with normal tension to work all of the rest of the stitches. If you do that every time, it does minimize that join seam. But when you're first starting out, the join seam can be confusing because it sort of looks like that's a stitch that I should be able to work a stitch into, but it's not. That's a lying liar. That's the slip stitch chain one join seam. We do not crochet into the slip stitch chain one join seam except for that one time I tell you to do that in the sleep near pattern, but we're just going to ignore that for now. So to make sure that we are not crocheting into the slip stitch chain one join space, and we are putting the first stitch of our next row into the same stitch we slip stitched into, something that a lot of crocheters can do when they're first starting out is they use stitch markers in either the first stitch of the row or the last stitch of the row or both. And when you put them in both, that means that anything in between there is part of the slip stitch to beginning stitch chain one join seam, and you do not work into it. So if you're not carefully counting your stitches and you want to rely on stitch markers, you can insert your stitch marker into the very first stitch of the row, fasten that in there, and we'll move it up each row. Unless I'm working short rows, sometimes when I work short rows, I decide to leave the stitch markers in place and just use new ones so that if I make a mistake, I can frog back to where the stitch marker is and know that I was correct at that point. But if I want to use two to mark on either side of the slip stitch to beginning stitch chain one join, I'm also going to put a stitch marker in the very last stitch of the row. I'm going to put it through both loops of that, close that stitch marker, leave that there. That means that my first stitch of the row should be worked into the same stitch as the first stitch marker, and my last stitch of the row will be worked into the same stitch as this last stitch marker, and then I will not work into that slip stitch to beginning stitch chain one join space. I will slip stitch into the first stitch, chain one, and continue with the next row. And I can, since I've worked this first stitch here, after that I can take this stitch marker out and put it into the first stitch that I worked and close it there, and that I will leave in place as I crochet the rest of the row. And then I'll come around to that last stitch marker and I'll use that as my touchstone to keep me from crocheting into the slip stitch to beginning stitch chain one join space. Stitch markers are an excellent tool to use as you crochet. It can help you keep track of your rows. You could leave a stitch marker every 5 rows and then you'd be able to better count them over the course of a longer crochet project. You can leave them in place, as I mentioned, during short rows at the beginning of every single row. Just be consistent. Don't leave one at the end of the row and another one at the beginning of a row. You'll get confused about which one you left where. Stay consistent. Always include it either in both or in one, and be consistent about that. I'm coming back around to the last stitch marker here. I'm going to insert my hook into the same stitch as the last stitch marker and complete my final single crochet. And then I can see that my next marked stitch is the beginning stitch. And even though there's all this space in here between that last stitch marker and the first stitch marker, I'm not going to crochet into this space. I'm going to insert my hook into the first stitch that I worked in the row, slip stitch, chain one, and then I'm going to work another single crochet into that same stitch, but I'm going to remove the stitch marker, work that single crochet, mark that first stitch again, and continue on. If I want to continue to be consistent with this, I would also move the last stitch marker up into the last single crochet of that row that I just completed, and that will continue to mark the first and last stitches of the row around the slip stitch to beginning stitch chain one join. Now without the slip stitch to beginning stitch chain one join, if I were crocheting in spiral instead of crocheting with the join seam visible, I would come up to the first stitch of the row. I would continue by crocheting into that first stitch, but I can use a stitch marker to mark the first stitch of every row so that I don't lose track of where that first stitch is. Because as you continue in spiral, you can lose track of where the beginning and the ending of the row is. I'm able to go back to the starting first row and follow that first stitch all the way up. Even if there wasn't a join seam here, I could do that, but it is easier in the moment as you're crocheting to keep that stitch marker in place on the first stitch of the row for every row worked in spiral. That way you don't lose track of your beginning or ending of your row. And for that, you just continue all the way around. And when we reach the end of the row, we will crochet into the next available stitch, the first stitch of this row I'm completing, just continuing in spiral without working a join. So we got there, that's the last stitch. Now I'm going to work a single crochet as the first stitch of the next row, and because that's the first stitch, I'm going to remove the stitch marker and move it into the first stitch I just created. That marks the first stitch of the row. And then I would keep going and move the stitch marker each time I start a new row into this stitch. There's one other way that I know of to mark stitches effectively, particularly effective if you are working in spiral. So I'm gonna frog back. I'd also like to mention before I start talking about this method, when you are instructed to continue in spiral after having worked the slip stitch to beginning stitch chain one join, it just means don't work the join, continue into the next available stitch. That would be the same stitch you would have worked the slip stitch to beginning stitch into, but if we're continuing in spiral, we're not going to work the join. We're just going to insert into the next available stitch and complete our stitch into it. That will eliminate the join. We continue in spiral. It creates a very different stitch shift than the slip stitch to beginning stitch shift creates. Patterns that are written with the slip stitch to beginning stitch chain one join in mind shift in one particular way and require that shift. Patterns written with this work in spiral in mind are intended to be worked in spiral. It will change any subtle or careful or small shaping. All of those details are affected by stitch shift. Stitch shift can be affected in a big way by the join method that you're using, whether that's working in spiral or with a slip stitch to beginning stitch. And different crochet pattern designers prefer a different way of doing the slip stitch to beginning stitch chain one join. Some designers prefer to put that first stitch of the next row into the next available stitch, not the same stitch that you slip stitched into. Everybody does it slightly differently. Crochet is a beautiful folk craft that has been passed on for hundreds and hundreds of years. Do it the way the designer is telling you to do it. For my patterns, that means slip stitch into the very first stitch you worked in the row, chain one, and then work your first stitch into the same stitch you slip stitched into. That's important for Crafty Intentions patterns. Also important is to work in spiral when I ask you to. So to work in spiral using a spare piece of yarn as your stitch marker, you're going to put the stitch marker, the yarn that we're using to mark the stitch, between the last available stitch of the row and the first available stitch of the row. And then we're going to crochet around it like this. And that keeps it marking between the last stitch and the first stitch. Then we work a whole row of crochet, and then we're going to flip the marking yarn over the row. That's the last stitch. We've reached the stitch marker. That marks the space between the last stitch of the row and the first stitch of the row. So now we're going to flip that over, keep that yarn between the last stitch and the first stitch, and we're going to work into the first stitch again. And so that marks where the last stitch and the first stitch were. We're going to do another row, and then we're going to flip this yarn back over, and we're going to go back and forth and back and forth. I'm going to demonstrate that for a couple of rows. So now we've marked 4 rows worth. That's 1, 2, 3, and we're starting a 4th row. And it leaves this dotted line along where your row beginning and row ending is. That yarn, that marking yarn, will always be between the first stitch of the next row and the last stitch of the previous row. And then when you're finished, when you don't need it anymore, you can just pull it out. Pull it all the way out of your work, and it goes away and you don't need it anymore. You just set that aside and reuse it. It's just as useful as these little plastic stitch markers, and it does a really nice job of marking, especially for working in spiral. I hope that helps.